Welcome back to Johnny's Scramble Drill, Week 10 edition. I'm Stucky, and joining me, as always, none other than Mr. Johnny Manziel. Each week we go through three of the biggest games on Saturday's slate. Let's kick things off with the big one at noon in Happy Valley between undefeated Penn State and one-loss Ohio State. Buckeyes, small road favorite here. Ryan Day hasn't fared well in games against top five teams in recent seasons, but James Franklin has not fared well in these big games either, especially against Ohio State. I think he's 1-9 overall. Something has to give. There's also some quarterback uncertainty in regards to Penn State with the injury to Drew Aller last week. Johnny, who do you like here?
I think I have to take Ohio State here. I mean, just with the uncertainty of the quarterback position right now, I mean, I would think in this game of how big of a magnitude it is for Penn State going against, Ohio State, I would think that Drew Aller is going to do everything in his possible, week to try and get back on the field and play this game. But really, I think Ohio State in this game is just going to be too good. You know, they're solid. Look, they're a team that's trying to make a push and make up for a little bit of their wrongdoings against an Oregon team a couple weeks ago. And I think they're just too tough for a Penn State team who's looked good throughout the season. But without Drew Aller, I really think they're a different team.
Or if he plays and he's not 100%, then that obviously could be an issue too. And if it's Bo, Ohio State will be more prepared than Wisconsin was this week. So, and I also think that it doesn't hurt Ohio State's chances that this game is at noon and not in prime time, where the crowd would, maybe a few more beverages in them, be a little bit more electric, like we saw with Texas A&M. Man, that crowd was in a frenzy last week, and this game definitely means more for Ohio State just from a desperation aspect. They lose this game, all of a sudden, college football playoff chances start to be put into question. Whereas Penn State lose this game, pretty easy remaining schedule, probably still in there. So Johnny is rolling with the road Buckeyes. All right, let's move on to some SEC action. The world's largest outdoor cocktail party in Jacksonville. This game will actually be moved to Atlanta. Georgia taking on Florida. Georgia, a little over a 2-touchdown favorite here. Florida has been playing better of late. Billy Napier also 10-3 against the spread as a double-digit underdog. Kirby hasn't been great as a large favorite, but that primarily applies to when Georgia's favored by 24 or more. DJ Lagway, can he continue to hit the deep, explosive passes, which he's done so well in limited action so far this season? Johnny, can Florida keep this within 2 touchdowns?
I don't think they can. I think this is a Georgia team that's starting to play a little bit better. Obviously, over the last couple of weeks, Florida's looked a little better than they did earlier on in the season. But this is a different beast that they're going up against this week, and I expect Georgia to have their pedal to the metal and all the way down on Florida's throat this week. Big rivalry game. Obviously, anything can happen here, but I'm leaning towards Georgia getting back on track and doing what they need to do towards the end of the season.
And moving on to the ACC, we have a pair of undefeated teams in league play that are still in the running for an ACC title. Winner of this game will still be right in the mix between SMU and Pitt, 2 teams that won last week in completely different fashion. You look, Pitt had they forced 5 turnovers, had 3 pick sixes against Syracuse. SMU survived in overtime against Duke despite a -6 turnover margin. They had 6 turnovers in the game, but were able to survive. Both quarterbacks, little banged up here, so adds some uncertainty. SMU all week has been around a 7 to a 7.5 point favorite here at home. Johnny, who do you like?
I like Pitt in this game. I'm going to go with the undefeated team. Even if their quarterback's a little bit banged up, I think this is a game they're going to have to rely a little bit more on their run game and a little bit more on their defense, who has been capable of making the plays they need to that we saw a couple weeks ago. I think, this is a huge game, obviously, for them. One, they want to continue to try and stay undefeated against the SMU team. It's been these are 2 teams that have been pretty good offensively, but I'm going to lean with Pitt here and to get this win and stay undefeated.
And SMU might, like, look, their offense just might not be as dynamic without their star tight end, RJ Maryland, who was lost for the season. Just such a reliable deep threat on third downs. The offense just isn't the same without him. So should be a good one there in the ACC. So Johnny's rolling with Pitt, Ohio State, and Georgia. Good luck, Johnny, and I'll see you next week for the Week 11 Scramble Drill.